Now, that's quite an interesting segue here. It is Consumer Tuesday. We're now going to talk to Wendy, Christina, and Sigrid. So let's bring them onto the screen. I'm sorry to mention Amazon, Wendy. Christina and Sigrid, Consumer Tuesday. We're talking about maybe consuming a little bit less. Good morning to you all. How are you?
Good.
Hello.
Bom dia.
It is lovely to have you here. So, projects to tell us about. Cost of living is rising. The world is changing. I think it's fair to say that, isn't it? And the consumerism, the capitalism experiment has some mixed results. Again, I think that's a fair review. You're doing things, aren't you, around Portugal, central Portugal, I think mainly around in the Tomar area, where you're challenging the way we trade with each other, the way we swap services, the way we work with each other. I'm not exactly sure where to begin here. Maybe with Wendy, because you first reached out to me to tell us about this. These ideas. There's several here, so let's start unpacking them. Wendy, where to begin?
Hi, Carl. Yeah, thanks. It was nice to meet Karen and hear what she's doing for the community by sharing her stories.
Absolutely.
Good to be here. So we three met at my house quite a few years ago now, before the pandemic, I think. I started hosting a swap because my garden, I mean, you've been here before, my garden's coming on. So there's quite a lot of fruit stuff coming out of my garden. Not as much as my neighbors, but people always get excess of one or two things. I mean, I'm really good at tomatoes and I don't eat them. So we started having swaps. And I mean, a swap for us is just no money involved. And that's very tempting for people to fall back on that when they bring something quite valuable. To say, well, I kind of feel like these are worth like €1 for 5 or whatever it is, you know. And for us to use this opportunity to kind of move into a new way of thinking about how much effort went into growing that, how easy was it for you, and for you to think about that, because it's up to the people that come with things to our swap to decide whether to swap and what to swap for. So they see what offers they get. I mean, you're not forced to swap, you know, there's no elbow twisting or anything like that. You bring your stuff, you lay it out, and you let people go past your table or your bench or the floor where you put a pretty carpet or something. And people chat to you about where it came from. And after the first one, it actually changed into swapping stuff. So people bring, I mean, we've had people here, Louisa brought some soap, and someone came down the hill with a barrow load, my very successful Dutch neighbors, with a barrow load of potatoes that they absolutely weren't going to eat, which they didn't even want to exchange for anything. They just wanted to give it.
A gift. Yeah.
So I did that a while ago, and Sigrid absolutely loved the swaps. She's been a cornerstone of all my swaps. But I got quite sick with the COVID, so I kind of stopped having things at my house. And Sigrid said, what about the swaps? We need the swaps.
Very good. We don't want to be swapping COVID, do we? So you had to stay at home. Sigrid, good morning to you. Lovely to meet you. I guess to put this into a geographical perspective, you are all around the sort of Tomar area, Alvázora, that part of
between
Portugal.
Tomar and Ferreira, yes.
Tomar and Ferreira. Thank you. Good morning to you as well, Christina. So Sigrid, you're quite inspired by the swapping idea. Wendy, not so well with the COVID. You thought it shouldn't stop. Let's carry on. And you've grown the project, have you? And is this what we're talking about here? The Facebook group, Portugal Food Swap. That's where people can find out more about it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. So what inspired you about it, Sigrid? Why did you roll your sleeves up and probably get your wellies on and get stuck in?
Well, the first idea was really to connect people. I think it's really important, especially at this time, not to be isolated, and instead of being distanced, to come together.
Yeah.
And second thing is, so years ago, I experienced this swap circus in Germany, and it worked really very good. And so I just thought, okay, let's try it here. And so what I like to do is just not to motivate the people to swap material things, but also their talents and services, so that you, for example, you can offer, if you don't have something but the other person likes to get from you, you can offer that you are able to cut the hair of somebody, or you will bake a cake later on, or some other things that we just come out of our box, that it is just a book, and you get a t-shirt, for example. There's much more possible, and yes, I like that a lot.
Brilliant,
So a little bit
brilliant.
like it was in the neighborhoods, always like that, and people didn't have to speak about it. And now sometimes it's still like that in the neighborhoods, but would nice to have it bigger in a bigger scale, and
Yeah.
therefore we have to organize it a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, well, you make a really good point, because in many ways this is how human beings used to be, isn't it? Until money came along and did so, and changed the game, really, didn't it? And I guess we're at the apex of how distant money can make us from. It's been a way of protecting ourselves from each other as much as anything, hasn't it? This whole sort of money system thing and the funny effect it's on society. You've been spotted here, I think. Fiona's in this morning. Morning, Fiona. Are you ladies on Swap and Share in Central Portugal on FB? Oh, that's Fiona's group there. So I think, do you know Fiona? I think this is a good connection.
We are. Hi,
Okay,
Fiona. Nice to see you
excellent.
here today. I'm
Excellent.
always there, and I think you actually had a post yesterday, Fiona, from someone who's doing something very similar but further north near Vizal.
Oh, okay, so this is growing. This phenomenon is growing.
Yeah.
Christina, good morning to you. How do you fit
Good
into
morning.
this?
Well, I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it was through Sigrid. Sigrid told me, oh, there will be a swap market, and oh, really? And I met Wendy at her home, invited by Sigrid to a swap. It was my first experience. I was a little bit confused. So what is happening here? What should I bring? I don't know. I think I brought some papers with some services I had. I was a little bit shy about how does this work. I don't know, but then I really enjoyed the atmosphere. So it was funny for me to know people. I met interesting people, and I really appreciated this connection. So next time I come again, just for the fun of the connection, and I have more ideas about what to bring for the swap.
That's brilliant. So
And
there's a
that's how
social side to it. So would you encourage people then? Because that's the thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people are very modest, possibly, and shy in this sort of situation. We're not used to it. Again, the whole money thing means you can just what to do when you go into a shop. You look at the price.
Yeah.
If you like it, you buy it. Done and dusted. This is a different sort of
It's
scenario, isn't it?
yes.
You're bringing more of yourself to the
Yes, it can
transaction.
be a little bit challenging
Yes.
because you need to show more of yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree absolutely with you that money protects us against each other. In
Yeah.
a way that if we take out this money protection, we need to go and connect and to see, and also to connect with our hearts. I mean, if someone has something to offer, and if I connect with me and with other person, I may realize, oh, okay, maybe I have this for you, or maybe we can do that. So it involves more the heart communication and less the process, the transaction, the
Rationality,
money.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's got to be good. So you would encourage people to sort of dwell on that for a moment. Hold on a minute, I am really skilled. I mean, I can do all sorts of things, and people do take it for granted, don't they? The natural skills we've got. I think we're far too modest often about that.
Yes. Yeah, of course. And we have some days ago. I invited a couple of friends to go to a swap to a swap market at Sigrid's last swap at Sigrid's house, and they were also a little bit shy. Well, they brought some ferramentas. How do you call that?
Fundamental like hardware
Tools, some
tools,
tools, some
tools. Yeah,
tools, but
yeah.
good value tools. I was surprised. Wow, yeah, we just have this for swap. Okay, in that market, nobody was interested, or there was not a good match for that kind of valuable thing. And it was interesting because recently, because we launched a Telegram channel to
Yes.
promote the swap between people, between the physical encounters. Now we have a Telegram chat, a Telegram channel, sorry. And suddenly someone was posting, "Oh, I am a informatic technician. It provides beautiful services, and I'm looking for several tools, including the ones that my friends brought to the market." And then I text them, "Look, here you have a possible swap." And I'm saying this because this friend of mine, he was a little bit shy, saying, "Oh, I don't have anything to swap. I just have this tool." and I thought, oh my God, how can you say that? He's so skilled. He has so much to do.
Yeah,
And then,
it's interesting, isn't it? And this is what's happened to us, isn't it? You know,
yes,
we in this sort of marketing-led world, other people decide, don't they? And and people become, or in their own minds, perhaps de-skilled, devalued. When in fact, as you say, people generally speaking, I mean, some people are far too modest, I think. And if we have scratched the surface, it's there, isn't it?
and I
Well-
think also that we need to break the ice. That's why when I saw this match, say, hey, here you have. Now you don't have an excuse.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
have the
Okay, so
tools.
every group needs a Christina as a sort of facilitator. I used to be shy and modest myself. I'm not going to allow anyone else to be like that in this group. Wendy, I think you were going to add something there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Carl, that's how you and I met. Is a
That's
friend of
right.
ours, Paul,
Yes.
was actually building shelves for me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, Paul needs a bit of income, so I give Paul some money for some of the gorgeous work he does for me. But otherwise, I mean, he sometimes stays here, I feed him. But you came for lunch and you helped to build my pantry shelves.
I
And
did.
Carl has skills people don't know about. He's really good at that.
I build pantry shelves. That nobody knew that until this
Nobody
morning.
knew that about you.
Thank you. So you have the events, which are the swaps, which you started when the Sigrid picked up that baton and ran with it. By the sound of it, a champion of the events where you get to meet people. You're building your social circle, which I think is really important as well at the moment. But also with this incredible technology, you know, there are other alternatives to WhatsApp and Facebook. I think Telegram you mentioned there, Signal as well, and that's a way of people saying, like Wendy, I've got 10,000 tomatoes. Does anyone need them? Well, you can just put that in the Telegram group, can you?
Yes.
And someone can respond.
Well, Sigrid actually put something very similar. What do you have at the moment, Sigrid? Lots of?
So I'm not at home. You mean that?
Yeah,
Yes.
the
So
post.
I will be not at home for 1 week, but I will have the vegetable, and so my kids can't eat them all. So I just put out that people can come and pick them up.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah, it's just
Okay.
a way of not throwing
Brilliant.
away.
So more examples, please, because I remember being involved in a Let scheme long ago, I think in the 90s back in England, the local economic trading system. And people have been trying to do these things for some time now. And it might be coming together because the conditions are sort of precipitating a need much more for it now. And back in those days, you know, you could get sort of intuitive mountain bike counseling and stuff like that. It seemed pretty wacky, but I mean, you're talking about food and tools here. These are very tangible things. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a bit of intuitive mountain bike counseling from time to time, but we're talking about very tangible and real things here. And obviously with a cost of living crisis and the price of food going up, this is a really important thing that you're introducing into local communities. And I guess that's another angle. It's essentially local, isn't it? Because you're not going to have somebody driving down from the Minho to come and get a few tomatoes. It encourages local trade and connection. Who would like to talk about that?
Christina, do you want to talk a little bit about the direction that we want to go in terms of
Yeah.
having vouchers for things that I want to swap you something of quite high value, but at the moment you don't have enough tomatoes?
Yeah. First, I want to just comment about this connection because you said that when I see the posts in the Telegram channel, I am always trying to, because I'm still meeting the people. I'm also connecting because most people are Sigrid's friends or Wendy's connections. I also have some friends there. I'm still meeting people. And one day someone posted, oh, I know how to knit socks and I'm looking for trousers for my boy, for my son. And that image really touched me because I could connect with the gift of the woman and I could connect with the child. I really connect with the person, even if I don't know her child, I know her, the woman. And then later, another friend of mine posted, oh, I have beautiful clothes for children, for boys and for girls. And I need help. I need a hand on my vegetable garden. And I was, oh, and then I send the same post to the other girl. Look, have a look. If you see if you can go. I don't know if it's a good match because they are not so close to each other. But is this connection really light me up?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but yes, regarding this we also see the need to foster this sharing further in the way that maybe I have a valuable thing and I cannot easily find a match of swap with you, and but there is a third person that I could that have something interesting for me. So if we could circulate more these services and good among the community, it will be better. We know about the LED system. That is something that we also have in mind, but I am aware of, and I am trying to experiment more about a system that is moeda livre, or free currency. It's a way of creating money that in fact is people that create their own money. So it's a monetary thinking, a monetary system where the money creation benefits equally everyone. So it's how, in fact, this was generated by a person, a French mathematician, that asked himself, how could money be created in a way that each human being will be equally benefit from it, and not just banks, or not just whatever. So how can money
hold
create?
the front page. Hold on a minute. This is a system. This is a system of exchange where everyone benefits. Why didn't we think of that before?
What? Say it again.
I mean, it is incredible, isn't it? That it's like, you know, this is news, isn't it? That money, that exchanging with each other might leave everybody in a win-win situation and better off. We're so used, and it's created a mindset, hasn't it, of like fear, I suppose. It's like not being ripped off, and someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and I suppose you're thinking to yourself, well, it better be me that wins here. And you know, there's such a richness to what you're talking about, and I think other people are saying so here. You know, proper community, helping each other out, sharing, caring, looking after each other in a local area. If you go to, let's say, a corporate clothes shop, the woman you mentioned, she needs some clothes for her child. You could be forgiven for going to you know, a branded clothes outlet, buying some cheap clothes. And in the back of your mind, you know, they might have been made by a child similar to your own child's age in Bangladesh. And that's why that garment only cost €3. The cost of that is hidden a long way away, isn't it? The other side of it, what you're talking about, is you know who you're dealing with, don't you? You've grown the vegetables and you're swapping those vegetables for the clothes that your child has grown out of. I mean, compare and contrast those two scenarios. I think I prefer the second one. I prefer what you're doing.
So I asked, for example, in the circle, if somebody has for apricot, what is staka, Christina, in English? So like a little stick to enchata. What is enchata? Well, to make out of a peach tree, what I have, an apricot tree, and I need a little stick.
Oh, pieces for grafting, Secret.
Grafting.
Grafting,
It's grafting. So, and already the same day I got an answer, so somebody has this stick for me. And so I still didn't receive it. But however, I knew for sure that whenever I will eat an apricot from this tree, there is a story.
Yes.
Story included, you know. It's not. So I could go to a garden center. Well, I'm not sure if I would get the stick, what I need. But if so, it's a dead business, you know. There's nothing around. And now there's always a story about every swap I do. And that's so nice. It's so beautiful.
It is. That's fantastic. That's really lovely. Bit of crypto bashing here. This is the very opposite of crypto, says the prof. All about people sharing their surplus utility with each other. These women are revolutionaries. Keep your voice down. Keep your voice down, prof.
Let's make a revolution.
Yes, we already do a lot of bartering for work. We all help each other on our farms. My neighbour took my tractor wheel off yesterday for a few bottles of wine. I'm glad they did it in that order. Now, here's a swap proposition. Are you allowed to swap people? Because Pete thinks Cindy's brother should be exchanged for a roasted piglet. I don't think that's allowed, is it?
Does Cindy's brother know about that?
I don't know. We need Cindy's permission, and we need Cindy's brother's permission for that one.
So
how many people are turning up for these events then? How long have you been doing them, says Fiona?
I can jump in. We just already had people requesting to put up a kitten for adoption on the Telegram group. And we've made a decision between the three of us. I mean, it's the community's Telegram group, but we have to try and sort of put some structures in place to make it safe. We've actually just said that this swapping system is not going to include animals, live animals. You know, there's a lot of places on Facebook and other places that you can exchange. We just don't really want to be involved in that. So I'm not sure if Cindy's brother is a live animal or if that's.
I suspect he is. I suspect we're going to say no. We're going to say no on that.
Yeah, we're going to say no. We're going to say no on that. Fiona, in the beginning, when I first had it at my house, I told my neighbors and a couple of friends, and we probably had secret about 20 people the very first swap. But already by the second swap, we had them once a month at my house. There were 35, 40 people. And I think the last one we had before the pandemic, there must have been at least 50 people wandering around my garden. Not everybody comes to swap because I think there is an education process. You come.
Yes.
And we encourage people to come to watch because you don't really know. If I bring this valuable thing that's important to me, you know, my tomatoes that I grew with the sweat on my brow, you want to know that you're going to get something for them because that's our culture around money.
Yeah.
And then you come and you see, I mean, we always have tea and cake and we're actually changing that now. Sigrid, you can talk about the community lunch and music and all these things. But yeah, for me, it was at least 50. Sigrid, it was more last time, I think, yeah?
And we are expecting more next time because we'll have music.
And I think you can expect, we'll come back to that in just a moment, Sigrid. That's fantastic. But look, Gary, you've got another one. Ladies, you've been right under my nose doing exactly what I've been wishing for ever since I came here. Look at that, your answer to Gary's prayers. Fabulous work, well done to you. And I've just downloaded the app. I hate wasting things. So another revolutionary joining your ranks. Sigrid, so tomatoes, tea and cake, and now music.
Yeah.
Go on, tell us about that.
Well, a friend of mine, he is a musician, and he will. So he asked his band if they come over, and they do, and so we'll have music after the main
local musician.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's going to be a party, a mixture of trade and partying. I mean, what's not to like about that? Tell us then, you know, I mean, what you've done is great because it makes it easier for others, doesn't it? I mean, there might be people in the Algarve, up in the north, saying, yeah, this sounds really great. I want to go ahead and do it. What's the first step for them to do that? I should ask you someone specifically, shouldn't I? Because you're all politely waiting for each other to answer there. Wendy, go on. What would you say as a first step?
I think for me, a lot of us know about this possibility, like Let's. I mean, I've seen Let's, I've seen transition towns doing stuff in the UK. Yeah. It's actually just a case of starting. And actually, you just need 10 friends. And I think most of us can drag 10 friends together for tea and cake at their house in someone's beautiful garden, especially now in the summer. And just try and sell this idea and let the how you do it develop from the group. You know, different groups might want to do it in different ways. But that's what happened for us. I just started.
I may comment that because I was not offering them. I was the first. I was attending to what the swap that Wendy offered, and when I went, I really felt the open-heartedness. How open-hearted she was. And this touched me more than anything. Not the swap and all. So if you want to start, see if you have this. Where is your generosity? What you could, which space you could open for community to feel welcome, and then people will start from that. Will grow. The community will grow from that.
Okay, so make a start. Put one foot in front of the other. You know, put the announcement out. See what happens. Make a go of it, and very likely you'll be surprised and touched by the experiences that you have. Sigrid, would you add anything to that about getting started?
Well, I just want to say that even in the pandemic time, we had a few swap markets with just very few people, maybe just 10 or something like that. But it was nice anyway. It was just a nice gathering. So it's not, of course, it's nice to have more people, but it's not depending about on a lot of people. So, yeah.
Just do it anyway. Yeah,
and
quality, not quantity, obviously.
Yeah. And something what is important also not to think that we have to make the swap right now in this moment, that it is something for the future. And I like that a lot because this creates even more connection. Because if I don't have something for you, you want my book, but I want your book, but you don't find something on my table. But I have in summer the tomatoes, or I can make something for you later on. And So, but for me, it's not important to get something back right now, and even not it's not necessary to have an idea right now. It's just okay. We
Well,
both know, and when we
yes.
create a circle that I can get something from somebody else in the group, even better. So there's really a lot of potential in it.
That's right, potential and transformational power. Because I
Yeah.
guess if you're just thinking of having the same values but making it a swap instead of a trade and using money, that's not really the point, is it? The point is that in endeavoring to expand your scope, open your heart, as you said, Christina, to what's possible here.
I have a beautiful story if you still have time.
Of
May I?
course, always time
Because
for a beautiful story. Go on.
I had a beautiful story with Sigrid because we started this Telegram channel and Sigrid made the first post and I was first client of her. So we inaugurated a channel like that. And she gave me some peas, some plants and some seeds. And I was asking her, okay, but how should we agree this swap? What do you need? What should I give you? And I was feeling that I need to feel that I have something to give back. For me, it's important to feel that I have something that the other person could receive something from me, and
Yes.
if not, it hurts me. So I was telling her that, and she said, "Okay, I hear that, but I need some time. I just want to stay with this with this that I gave you." Staying with this experience of swap, so I gave you this, and enjoy this taste until I have clarity of what could be the swap. And then, okay. And the day after, she said, "Oh, I have had an idea, but I was even sad that I didn't want to have the idea already because I was enjoying so much this connection."
Yes,
And
I get
she
it.
she had a beautiful idea that I could not have by myself because she needs some help with Portuguese. I'm Portuguese, she's not, and so I may support her with a specific Portuguese learning. And
Yeah.
I was, oh, but really touched me this feeling of her. Oh, I didn't want to have the idea already. I wanted to taste more this connection.
That's beautiful. That really is. And you touched on something there as well, about the need. We have us human beings seem to have a natural need to exchange, don't we? And be in communication with each other. And I understand what James is saying here. I sometimes imagine a world where everything is free. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And we love that sentiment. But it's not just about making everything free, is it? It's about connection, I suppose. It's as much about connection and going there in the way that you described, Christina, about, okay, so what does this mean to me? And how do I connect with that person? And all sorts of other things are possible by taking away that money shorthand and that rather cynical place we've got to with just straightforward financial trading. We're going into a much richer and deeper picture. And I suppose what's free here is the freedom that brings.
Yeah.
Because you make a really interesting point about how somebody gives something, and then they want to reciprocate, don't they? So can you tell us more about that and what's occurred with that in your group? Any of you that goes to?
I
Well,
don't know if, yeah.
yeah,
Go, Andy.
I think we all have stories. We actually had the three of us had a planning meeting, and we were talking about it's going to be a fair amount of work going forward, I imagine, because we've got all these projects we're thinking of.
Yeah.
And so we just did a little bit of quick, more sort of formal corporate strategizing, talking about how, why we're involved, why we're doing this. Am I getting a lot of feedback, Carl?
No, we can hear you. It's good.
Okay. And I think all of us are in it for the community benefit, for
Yeah.
ourselves to be part of a bigger community, for the community to grow. And the Christina story about Secret reminds me of a swap that happened here. I have outbuildings that I haven't used yet. I think this is true for most of us who buy old farms in Portugal. And someone had left some furniture. Someone has a van, a friend of ours, a mutual friend, Carl, had found stuff on the side of the road that was simply too good to leave there.
Mm.
So they'd stored it in my outbuildings. And someone came to a swap, and that person said, well, I'm going to swap this stuff that I found for nothing. And they got a generator out of it because the
Wow.
person who needed the furniture had a generator they weren't using, and the furniture seemed so valuable, and the generator wasn't of any use to them. So I would have held on to the generator and tried to sell it on the market.
Yes.
This person actually got this furniture, which he saw. I mean, it was old Portuguese furniture with wood arms, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
He got that for nothing because he had the generator. And there's that switch that happens in your head to say the generator's not worth $100. It's worth this wonderful value of this sofa and 2 chairs that I'm going to enjoy so much. It's a
Yes.
really fair exchange, even though
Yeah,
the furniture
absolutely.
is nothing.
No, totally understand that. Rebel Mum has got a great question here. Do your Portuguese neighbours join in with? Sorry, I'm keeping you out past 10 o'clock. Are we all right for a few more minutes? Great. Okay. Do your Portuguese neighbours join in with the swaps, or is it mostly the English-speaking immigrants? How do you reach out in a mostly Portuguese-speaking small village? I imagine this could work very well locally. What's your experience of this?
So this was in the beginning really a challenge because I feel quite integrated in this village, but still it could be that if I make this event that the Portuguese people are a little bit distant. I think oh, this is something for the foreigners. They meet there and we are not participating. So I invited them personally, but not a lot of them came. Maybe I would say the last time it were 80 or even more percent were foreigners. So this time, through this friend of mine who's a musician, he's Portuguese and he is even more integrated, of course. And I think he will bring a lot of Portuguese people. And I think this is always really so important to write in the beginning now, when it is the second time at my place, at least, to get them to participate. Yeah,
Excellent.
I think it will change for sure.
Yeah. And I wonder what's going to be on the playlist. Like Money Can't Buy Me Love, Money, That's What I Want. There's a great playlist opportunity for your friend there. Christina, were you going to add something there?
Yeah, I was adding that this is for the physical encounters, for physical meetings, and for the Telegram channel, we are making all the announcements bilingual. So Portuguese is mandatory, and person can also add a translation to English or whatever language, but
Great.
keep the anchor in Portuguese to honor and welcome the locals.
Brilliant. Muito obrigado for that, Christina. That's fantastic. And folks, use the Expats Portugal forum. Start a thread if you want to reach out to our 10,000 plus community and your community segment, niche and geographical niche. Do it at Expats Portugal /community. Last couple of comments then. It's been a lovely conversation this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry to hide you for a minute there. I recently found out about a national movement called something like Buy Nothing or Buy No More, where neighborhoods organize essentially a garage sale day where everything is free. Love it, says James. Watch out for one of those in early Sarah then. And also we had a take one and or leave one table at our weekly neighborhood farmers market in LA. That's a nice touch, isn't it?
Oh, nice.
Perhaps people could do that here at their local farmers market as well. Rebel Mama, well versed in this culture as well. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Then maybe some, what I've forgotten to ask you, or things that people need to know. We've talked about how to start a group up. What parting thoughts then on this revolutionary act that we're committing this morning?
Our next swap at Secrets House is on the 12th of June. And
Excellent.
There'll be information on the Facebook group and the Telegram group, and we even have WhatsApp if someone wants to reach out.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you very much, Wendy. Sorry, go on, Sigrid.
Beginning at 9:30.
9:30. Anything else you want to add, Sigrid?
No, I think.
Come and enjoy the swaps and the music.
Yeah, and Christina, what about you?
I just want to mention that an important point for me is that free. It's not free. Free is not this having everything for free. For me, is relating with connection. The point you made earlier. Yeah. It's not free that I can take whatever I want. No, this is disconnected anyway. This is another way of disconnection and of robbery even. So yes. It's how we connect and we have a fair exchange and awareness in the exchange, or human awareness in our exchanges.
I got it. And there's a sense of expansion with that, isn't there? And I think alternicity is here, sometimes called the reciprocity principle. Thank you for that. And we're talking, we're not talking about, I guess, taking anything away from anybody, are we? Quite the opposite. We're talking about adding. The phrase added value is so horrible now, isn't it? Because it's been so wrongly appropriated. But you are adding value. You're expanding things, aren't you, between people? There's a lot of where money has helped
You
us
can
highlight.
you can add love.
Yes, you're adding love to the mix. And as much as marketers want to say that with their PR and their marketing strategies, we know what you're doing is a much real and more authentic way of doing that than these corporations can ever come up with. So thank you. The revolutionaries who've been with me this morning. Just like Karen, you're welcome to come back. Do let us know when things are happening, developing, and you have a key to the studio to come back and tell us whatever you need to tell us when you need to tell us it.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
All right. Ciao for
Nice
now.
to be here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah, muito prazer, muito prazer. Até logo.